I was cleaning out the fridge and found some cottage cheese that I didn't use up for a previous recipe, and so I thought I would make a quick cottage cheese sourdough loaf using my bread machine. So it's been a really busy, hectic week, and I just did not have time to nurture a full sourdough, so I'm doing this little cheat and I thought I'd share it with you. So I started off with 1 cup of cottage cheese, and to this I added 1 cup of sourdough starter. My sourdough starter was active. I had just fed it the night before, but you could use an unfed starter as well. Next, I added 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Later, you're going to see me add 3/4 of a cup of water. I would add that now. I chose to add a cup of spelt. I ground this from a local farmer. You could just use all white flour. So I did a cup of spelt and 3 cups of flour. You could just do 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, I added 2 teaspoons of salt. I went ahead and added a teaspoon of yeast since I wasn't going to have time to let the sourdough rise like a normal sourdough. And then I placed my pan inside the bread machine. This recipe is for a 2-pound loaf, so just use that setting if you have that available on your bread machine. I also used the basic setting. It's still basically winter here. We have 6 more weeks before we can really get our garden started, but I do have spring onions coming up, and so I decided to cut off some of the greens and use those as just some flavor enhancement in this bread recipe. I just used some kitchen scissors to cut these up into small pieces, and then I decided, because I have some fresh basil as well, that I would add that too. This recipe really showcases fresh herbs, so if you have some on hand, this would be a great way to use some of them up. I have not made it with dried herbs, so if you want to experiment with that, go for it. The bread had already gone through a pre-mix and was ready for any adds, and so I went ahead and added these herbs, and that's when I realized I forgot to add my water. So this recipe being so forgiving, I was able to add my water at this point. So I added 3/4 of a cup of water. Here's a little peek after it started to rise, and you can see the herbs are blended in there really well, and the bread rose spectacularly. This is after the bake. It is all ready to come out and cool off. This bread has such a soft crumb. You want to be sure that you are around to pull it out of the machine as soon as the baking cycle is over, and to get that on a cooling rack as soon as possible. So even though I messed up by adding my water way late in the game, it turned out to be such a gorgeous loaf. It smells wonderful and it's really nice and soft. It slices up nice and easy for toast or sandwiches. It's a really fun bread to bake and just adds a little pizzazz to any meal.